Karen and Leo arrive at Giles' mansion, but Revelio's still clinging on like a cat at the window. He's like, "Hey, maybe I'll stay the night." Karen punches him and goes, "No peddlers allowed." Ouch! Denied. After some teasing and a farewell full of sarcasm, the prince rides off, leaving behind Mason. Our tale begins not with a whimper, but with a bang, or rather, a whole symphony of them. The imperial palace is burning, the sky is weeping ash, and the stairs are simply littered with the most unfashionable accessory of the season, corpses. And standing at the top of it all, our tragic hero Kaelin, the Emperor's most loyal, most cursed, and most decidedly doomed mad dog. And climbing out of the inferno to meet him, none other than his oldest, dearest, and currently most annoyed friend, Theron, the leader of this delightful little rebellion. Silver armor, check. Family crest of a blue wolf, absolutely. A face twisted in anguish because his bestie won't just surrender and go get a drink like a normal person, you bet. "Surrender," he pleads. "Lay down your weapons." Oh, the drama, the emotion. It's enough to make a statue weep. But our Kaelin, he just chuckles. He actually chuckles while standing atop a mountain of the deceased. The audacity, the sheer, unadulterated theatricality of it all. I approve. He tells Theron it's impossible, that a dog must guard its house, but oh, the history between these two. Flashback. A young, stubborn nobleman named Theron approaches a young, deadly guardsman named Kaelin. "Fight me," he says. "I've heard you're the best." It was the start of a beautiful sword-clashing friendship. A slave and a duke's son. How positively Shakespearean. But back to the present bloodbath. Kaelin reveals the terrible, fabulous tea. The Emperor, that bluest, blooded son of a, didn't just mismanage the treasury, oh no. He made a deal with devils. And our poor Kaelin, his soul is shackled by the Emperor's nasty black magic, forcing him to fight. Though it seems the connection is weakening, giving our tragic pup just enough wiggle room for one last choice. He raises his sword. Theron powers up with his gorgeous, noble blue mana. Kaelin's is a murky, cursed black. They charge. It's a clash of destinies, a ballet of blades. Oh my. Well, that was anticlimactic. Kaelin's sword only grazes Theron's shoulder, but Theron's blade, it went right through Kaelin's chest. A direct hit. But wait! Why is Theron so angry? He's screaming! "Why did you twist your blade?" He's crying. It seems our mad dog deliberately missed. He chose his friend over his master. He chose to be the villain in Theron's heroic story. And as he dies in his best friend's arms, he says this is his first real decision, his path to happiness. And his last words? Nothing really. S.O.B. The sheer, unadulterated emo poetry of it all. What a finale! Curtain call. Throw the roses. But wait, what's this? An encore. Kaelin's consciousness doesn't fade. He's thinking. He's feeling warmth. Is it hell? Is he being punished for the Emperor's sins? The injustice? And then, a voice. "Master, it's a boy." His vision clears. He's being held by a crying man who is calling him sin. And then he's passed to another man, an older man with a familiar face. It's Theron. But old. Very old. And this old Theron looks down at baby Kaelin and says, "Our youngest grandson, our little Kieran, formerly the mad dog Kaelin, is now 10 years old, and he is wasting absolutely 0 of those years being innocent. He is a menace, a precocious, brilliant, vegetable-hating little demon child, and I adore him completely. His poor, poor history tutor, the esteemed Professor Albus, is his first victim. This man came to teach about the glorious Leston family legacy, and instead finds himself being grilled for classified files on himself. Well, his past self. Kieran is forcing this poor scholar to bring him research on the fallen knight. Kaelin Latour, the absolute audacity, the nerve, the theatrical genius of it all, and the public perception of his past life. Oh, it's a tragedy worthy of its own play. They've turned him from a cursed guard dog into a steadfast knight. A tragic figure of unwavering loyalty. They've whitewashed his miserable death into a noble sacrifice, and our little Kieran is furious about it. He thinks it's his dear old Grandpa Theron's idea of a posthumous punishment, to forever memorialize him as a stuffy, honorable knight when he just wanted to die and be forgotten. The pettiness, I can feel it radiating off him in waves. But the best part, the absolute best part, he's using his new family's power and influence to dig up his own past. He's a 10-year-old mob boss of historical research. "I'll put in a good word with my father," he says. The manipulation, the power plays. He's not just accepting this new life, darlings, he's learning how to work it. And speaking of his father, meet Ronan. Oh, Ronan, you sweet, sweet summer child. You have no idea the primordial force of chaos you have sired. He's just a loving, worried dad, fretting that his son might not awaken the family's magical blue mana and be cast aside like he was. Oh, the dramatic irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. His son isn't just going to awaken the family mana. He's already a master of death and betrayal in a child's body. And Kieran? He sees it. He sees his father's insecurity, and, in a moment that is both genuinely sweet and horrifyingly calculated, he tells him, I respect you. He tells him it's good that he's not like his own legendary father, Theron. Because it's true! In his past life, Kaelin saw Ronan as a child and thought he was nothing like the bombastic halo. And he meant it as a compliment. The layers, the history, my heart can't take it. But then, the cherry on top of this delicious, chaotic cake. The awakening ceremony is in 2 weeks. Grandpa Theron is coming home. The man who killed him is returning to see the grandson, who houses the soul of his oldest friend. And what does our little villainous protagonist say? I've got everything planned. He says it with a smile, a sweet, innocent, 10-year-old smile that promises absolute and utter mayhem. He's going to make his grandfather's retirement a living nightmare, and I am here for every single second of it. Let's set the scene, shall we? While dear Papa Ronan is sweating bullets over the upcoming awakening ceremony, terrified his son will be a dud like him. What is our precious little protagonist doing? Is he nervous? Is he practicing his etiquette? No! He's lying on his bed, sighing. And then, whoosh! He's casually summoning the legendary azure mana like it's nothing. The very mana he coveted in his past life, the symbol of his best friend's noble bloodline, is now dancing at his fingertips. And he's had it for 3 years. The absolute nerve, the sheer, unmitigated gall. He's been hiding a divine-level power-up since he was 7. And why? Not out of modesty, oh no, because the mana practice methods he knows from his past life are the forbidden, devil-tainted arts of the Imperial Guards. He can't use them without raising a million questions. So what does he do? He gets a mana stone and starts practicing in secret, like a tiny blue-eyed sorcerer. He's not just preparing, he's doing advanced mana cardio while everyone else is still learning to crawl. But his goal? It is chef's kiss, perfectly petty and glorious. He doesn't want to just reveal himself. That would be too simple, too boring. He wants to get stronger than his grandfather, the legendary hero Theron. And then, right before the old man kicks the bucket, he'll lean in and whisper, It's me. I'm your grandson. Also, your dramatic retelling of my death was tacky, and I hated it. He wants his revenge to be a perfectly timed, emotionally devastating punchline. I have never respected a fictional 10-year-old more in my life. But wait, there's more. His ultimate goal isn't just to annoy his grandpa. He's going to hunt down every single devil that ever made a deal with the Emperor and turn them into cosmic dust. The ambition, the scale. This isn't a second chance at life. It's a personal crusade wrapped in a family drama delivered by a smirking child. Cut to the family train ride to the main estate. And even this is a flex. The train, a marvel of modern magic, was pioneered by his father, Ronan. The black sheep of the family is actually a business and logistics genius who funded the Empire's technological revolution. The irony is so delicious. The son who was cast out for lacking martial talent is the one financially propping up the entire noble structure. And Kieran knows it. He's proud of his dad. It's a genuinely sweet moment amidst all the scheming. But of course it can't last. They arrive at the main house and are greeted by the ancient butler, Gunther, another ghost from Kieran's past. This man used to clean up after Theron's messes, and now he's greeting his master's reincarnated best friend as a child. The layers, the history. And as Papa Ronan gets more and more tense, fearing the judgment and sneers of his family, our little agent of chaos is vibrating with excitement. His internal monologue isn't one of fear, it's of pure, unadulterated opportunity. Unfortunately for Fail, the possibility of their visit to the main family going smoothly was 0. After all, if nothing happened, I'll make sure something does. He says it with his chest. He is going to walk into the lion's den and poke the lions with a stick, because it sounds like a fun Tuesday. He dreams of being the biggest troublemaker the ducal family has ever seen. Beth, Our precious Chaos Prince, Kieran, has been in the main estate for approximately 5 minutes and has already committed attempted cousin-side. I am so proud. The scene, Azure Ocean Castle, dripping with history and the very Azure mana our boy now commands. But while his poor sweet father Ronan is off doing boring adult things, Kieran is immediately ambushed by his cousin, the smug, condescending Lucian. This little twerp waltzes in, dismisses the servants, and immediately starts throwing shade. He calls Ronan, the business genius who funds this entire family, pathetic and a disgrace for being obsessed with money. Oh, the foolish, foolish child. He came to probe and intimidate. What he got was a masterclass in psychological and physical warfare. Kieran doesn't even flinch. He just smiles that terrifying, innocent smile and calls Lucian a budding troublemaker. He's not offended, he's impressed, and also deeply threatened that someone might challenge his rightful title as family menace. And then, the reveal! Lucien, thinking he's so mighty with his awakened mana, suggests a duel. And what does Kieran do? He punches him in the gut before he can finish his sentence. No monologuing, no posturing, just pure, efficient violence. The shock on Lucien's face when he realizes Kieran's fist is glowing with the azure mana he's supposedly here to awaken. Chef's kiss. I've had it for quite a while. He says it so casually. He's been hiding a superpower for years and he reveals it by beating the arrogance out of a 12-year-old. The sheer drama of it. But it gets better. He doesn't stop there. He covers Lucien's mouth so he can't scream and proceeds to give him a one-sided beating, all while delivering a villainous monologue about how he will be the sole troublemaker of the Leston family. He's not just defending his father's honor, he's eliminating the competition. He's literally assigning his cousin a new role. For every troublemaker, there's a noble gentleman. I think you'll fit that role quite well. He's not just hitting him, he's rebranding him. This is next-level bullying. By the time the knights and elders burst in, Lucien is unconscious and frothing at the mouth. The room is in chaos, and Kieran, he's just standing there, blood on his hands, with a smile of pure satisfaction. His father is horrified. His uncle Raphael is furious, grabbing him by the collar. And how does our 10-year-old demon lord respond? He meets his uncle's rage with an unblinking stare and a polite, "Pleased to meet you, uncle." Then he throws Raphael's own hypothetical question right back in his face. The nerve, the absolute breathtaking gall. But the piece de resistance, the final twist. The ancient butler Gunther arrives with the summons. The Duke himself has called for them. The head of the family, the legendary hero Theron, wants to see his youngest grandson and his son immediately. And as Ronan's soul practically leaves his body in terror, Kieran smiles. He takes his father's hand and says, "I'm excited." He is excited to meet the man who killed him in his past life. After just putting that man's other grandson in the medical wing, the stage is set for the most awkward, tense, and potentially explosive family meeting in the history of ever. Shh! Do you hear that, my darlings? That is the sound of a master manipulator at work. The grand reunion we've all been waiting for has finally happened, and it did not disappoint. Our little wolf pup Kieran has just faced down the old alpha, Theron himself, and he didn't just survive, he absolutely thrived. The setting, the tiger's den, Theron's office, a place of immense pressure and gravitas, and our boy walks in, holding his terrified father's hand, without a single drop of fear in his tiny, magnificent body. The old hero is there, all white hair and robust physique, trying to look imposing. But Kieran, he sees right through it. His internal monologue is already snarking. As he got older, he just got better at putting on airs. The disrespect, the sheer, unadulterated audacity. I am living for it. Theron begins the interrogation. Why did he hide his mana? Why did he beat his cousin to a pulp? And Kieran's answers? A masterclass in psychological warfare? He reveals he's had the azure mana for 3 years, with the casualness of someone describing their breakfast. And when asked how he hid it, he doesn't just answer, he counterattacks. He innocently asks why the knights at his branch mansion were so incompetent compared to the main families. He's not just defending himself, he's exposing the family's neglect of his father right to the Duke's face. The nerve! But the true masterpiece is over cousin Lucian. Theron has the bruised and bandaged boy brought in to confirm the story. And what does the terrified Lucien do? He confirms every single word of Kieran's slightly exaggerated story. Why? Because he is more terrified of the 10-year-old demon who beat him senseless than he is of the legendary hero. The power dynamic is already shifting. Kieran has established dominance without throwing a single punch in that room. And Theron? He sees it all. He knows his grandson is cunning, audacious, and brilliant. He's not even angry, he's fascinated. He's trying to be stern, but you can see the pride and intrigue sparkling in his eyes. This is exactly the kind of chaotic energy his own youthful self would have adored. Then comes the question of the century. What do you want to be when you grow up? And Kieran, the little genius, doesn't give a direct answer. He says he'll reveal it after the awakening ceremony because only then will he truly be part of the family. It's a subtle, heartbreaking dig at how his branch of the family has been treated, and it hits Theron right in the guilt complex. It's manipulation so smooth it's practically silk. The meeting ends with a postponed punishment and a subtle warning from Theron that his grandfatherly favor only goes so far. But the message is clear. Kieran has passed the test. He's not in trouble. He's on the radar. And the final scene? Theron alone, telling his butler Gunther to send a priest and doctor to check on Kieran because he's worried he might be carrying emotional scars from being too mature. He's worried he's not innocent enough. He's not punishing him. He's trying to therapy the cunning out of him. The irony is so thick you could swim in it. The old hero is officially intrigued, impressed, and already playing favorites. The awakening ceremony is no longer just a test of power. It's Kieran's debutante ball, and the entire family is about to witness a star being born, or a supernova ready to explode. The tension is palpable. The drama is exquisite. We find our brilliant boy lying in bed, actually introspecting. He's reflecting on his reunion with Grandpa Theron, and is utterly shook by the old man's power. Theron's mana isn't just strong, it's a transcendent, oceanic force of nature. Our Kieran, who was a top-tier 8-star knight in his past life, realizes he's now staring up at a mountain he couldn't even see the peak of before. The awe, the respect, the burning competitive fire it lights in his little heart. He's not jealous, he's inspired. He sees a path to power he could never walk as Kaelin, and he is ready to sprint down it. But the best part? His entire disastrous first day was a calculated masterstroke. He didn't just beat up his cousin Lucian out of rage, he did it to capture Theron's attention. And it worked! He's got the old hero fascinated. Now, all he has to do is absolutely ace this ceremony, and he'll have the greatest trainer on the continent wrapped around his little finger, the long-term planning, the audacity. But wait, a tender moment interrupts our scheming. Papa Ronan, smelling slightly of wine, relatable, comes to check on his son. He admits he's always known Kieran was different. Too mature, keeping secrets. But he doesn't press. He just offers his unconditional love and support. I will always stand behind you. S.O.B. The pure, wholesome goodness of this man is the perfect foil to our little agent of chaos. Kieran is genuinely touched. This family's love is the one thing his calculated heart didn't expect and doesn't take for granted. Cut to the next morning. The rumors have spread. The main household is terrified of the new little monster in their midst. Servants scatter like leaves. And Kieran? He tells his father it's all going according to plan. He'd rather be feared than underestimated. He's building a reputation not just for himself, but to protect his father's honor, the complexity. Then, the most awkward family breakfast in history. The uncles are seething, cousin Lucienne is traumatized, and Aunt Leona is just curious. The tension is so thick you could serve it with a side of eggs. And then Theron drops the bombshell. The awakening ceremony is happening today, this afternoon. No 2-week preparation. He's moving the schedule up because he's too impatient to see what his intriguing grandson will do. And Kieran? He's thrilled. He was hoping for this. He wants to shake this family to its foundations, and he's got the perfect bomb to do it. Himself. The stage is set, the audience is hostile, and the prodigy is ready to perform. The pledge stone awaits. What world will he see? What weapon will he manifest? And just how spectacularly will he show up every single one of his doubting relatives? The anticipation is killing me. It's time for the main event. Don't you dare look away. Oh my. It seems the ancient magic has a truly wicked sense of humor, or perhaps it sees right into the very core of a soul. For the new world, it shows him, is no world at all. It is a memory, a nightmare. It is the blood-soaked staircase of the imperial palace, littered with the corpses of his past life. The very place where Kaelin met his end. The sheer, breathtaking audacity of this test, to force him to walk through his own personal hell. The drama, the tragedy, it's exquisite. But our boy doesn't flinch. He doesn't shut his eyes. He walks. Step by gruesome step, he ascends that staircase, acknowledging each fallen comrade with a whispered apology. He is not running from his past. He is confronting it. He steps right over the spot where he died and does what he never could in his first life. He enters the throne room. And there it is. Not a glittering new weapon, but a ghost from his past. Embedded in the throne is Lewin, his cursed sword, the very extension of his damned existence, the instrument of his slavery. The voice of the pledge stone tells him to infuse it with his azure mana, to reclaim it, to make it his own again. And he hesitates. Of course he does. To touch that sword is to touch the misery of the life he so desperately wants to leave behind. The fear is palpable. But then he gets it. He understands. This entire ceremony isn't about power. It's about conquering your fears. His grandfather's final words weren't just a warning. They were the key. And with a hollow laugh at the poetic justice of it all, he does it. He places his hand on the hilt of his past and pours his new, pure, free mana into it. The azure light doesn't just fill the sword, it consumes the entire world. He didn't just find a weapon, my darlings. He accepted his past. He reconciled the slave with the noble. He took the symbol of his curse and is in the process of transforming it into a symbol of his liberation. The psychological depth, the narrative perfection. I am in awe. What will this reborn sword become? What will the family make of a weapon that should not exist? The anticipation is agonizing. But what did he bring back from his trip down memory lane? Oh, just a little something called guillotine. The execution sword, just the legendary, mythically forgotten, demon-beheading blade of the first ancestor that is so terrifying. It was literally erased from history. No big deal. And the voice guiding him, just your friendly neighborhood blue dragon from the North Sea. Apparently the Leston family has a guardian dragon on retainer, and it is very invested in our little troublemaker's future. The lore, the world building, it's all coming together. But the best part? The reactions. Grandpa Theron shooketh. He recognizes the sword instantly, and his face goes more serious than a tax audit. He knows this isn't just a cool new toy, it's a destiny. A promise to eradicate demons that his first ancestor failed to keep. The weight of that legacy just landed squarely on Kieran's 10-year-old shoulders. And the uncles. Oh, the uncles are sweating. Uncle Dale's, the almost 8-star powerhouse, feels a chill of fear just looking at the sword. Uncle Raphael is speechless with rage and confusion. The family dynamics have officially been nuked from orbit. The carefully built succession war between the first and second son is now a 3-way battle with a dark horse candidate who holds a sword that stares into your soul. But through it all, our boy is hungry. Father, I'm hungry, he says. After shattering an ancient artifact and becoming the chosen one of a mythical dragon, his primary concern is getting a stake. The absolute king. The stage is set for an epic power struggle. The elders are whispering, the uncles are scheming, and Theron is watching it all with a mix of pride and dread. Kieran has the sword, the destiny, and the dragon's favor. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. Everything could go wrong, and it's going to be glorious to watch. He meets his great-aunt. Excuse me, the magnificent Lady Aurelia, the White Wolf, and she is not what you'd expect. She's not a kindly old granny. She's a blue-haired, mana-rejuvenated powerhouse who looks like she's in her late 20s and could bench press a horse. She doesn't like being called great-aunt because, darling, who would? She's fabulous. And who else is in detention? I mean, class? Why, it's his traumatized cousin, Lucian, the boy who learned the hard way not to insult Kieran's father. He's trying so hard to be brave, but one look from our little Chaos Lord and he practically vibrates with fear. The tension is delicious. Lady Aurelia begins the lesson. She explains the ocean dominance arts, building seas of mana within yourself, with Grandpa Theron being the only one in the Empire to have merged them all into one transcendent ocean. It's a fascinating system. Kieran is locked in, focused, determined to reach that pinnacle he could never touch in his past life. She tells them to close their eyes, to gently draw up their azure mana, to guide it through their pathways. She's about to warn them that it's difficult for beginners, that it takes time and patience. When Kieran absolutely ignores the instructions and goes full throttle, whoosh! An explosion of azure mana erupts from him like a tidal wave. The training hall is suddenly filled with a raging ocean of power. Lady Aurelia is cut off mid-sentence, her eyes wide with shock. Lucienne is probably blown against the back wall. He didn't just draw up his mana, he unleashed the entire sea. All because he's been secretly practicing for years with a mana stone. This isn't a beginner's first step. This is a graduate-level thesis presentation. The preparation, the sheer, unmitigated gall. The look on Aurelia's face says it all. She's not seeing a student, she's witnessing a natural disaster in a child's body. This is the vast, uncharted sea Theron warned her about, and it's already making landfall. What will she do? How will she possibly teach someone who starts at the finish line? And poor Lucien. Will he ever recover from the psychological damage? And his instructor, none other than the legendary commander of the Azure Wolves, Zerath Winterguard, an 8-star knight, a man whose mere presence screams, "I could defeat an army before breakfast." And how does our boy react? With awe-inspired respect, nervous trembling? Please. He sizes him up like he's checking out the competition. The audacity. I adore it. But Commander Zerath lays down the law immediately. No special treatment, no young master titles until he's earned it. And most importantly, gasp, he's taking away his sword. The glorious, terrifying guillotine is being benched. He's being given a wooden practice sword, the indignity. But does Kieran throw a fit? Does he pout? Of course not. He shrugs it off like it's nothing. He's more comfortable without the fancy title anyway. The sheer, unbothered king energy is off the charts. And then he walks into the training ground. And oh, the drama of it all. Every single knight stops what they're doing to stare. The air is thick with tension, anticipation, jealousy, curiosity. It's a whole emotional symphony directed at our 10-year-old protagonist. This is his initiation, his trial by silent judgment. But Kieran? He feels reassured. He looks at these fierce warriors, the very same ones who stormed the palace and ended his past life. And instead of fear, he feels a profound sense of camaraderie. The enemies of his past are the protectors of his future. The poetic irony is so thick you could swim in it. He doesn't cower. He strides forward with a confident smile, ready to earn his place among them. The wolves are watching, and the pup is ready to play. That's right. The montage is over. 3 years have passed in the blink of a beautifully dramatic eye. And what a 3 years it's been. Our boy Kieran has been busy. He's not just swinging a sword, he's been utterly devouring his training. Under the fierce and fabulous eye of the White Wolf, Lady Aurelia, his control over his monstrous azure mana has gone from a raging tsunami to a slightly less raging tsunami that he can actually steer progress. And under the stern gaze of Commander Zerath, his swordsmanship has sharpened to a lethal point. He's been using those weighted artifacts like they're going out of style, building a body that would make a veteran knight weep with envy. The dedication, the sheer will. But has all this hard work made him humble? Oh, please, this is Kieran we're talking about. He's more insufferable than ever, and we love him for it. His poor cousin Lucien is still his primary victim. The dynamic is perfect. Kieran, the brilliant smirking menace, and Lucien, the perpetually flustered straight man who has somehow become his reluctant, and let's be honest, only friend. They bicker, they train, and Lucien lives in a constant state of awe and terror. It's comedy gold. But it hasn't all been smooth sailing. The uncles, Dales, and Raphael are still scheming in the shadows, watching Kieran's meteoric rise with pure, unadulterated jealousy. The tension in the castle is thicker than the plot of a bad romance novel. And the biggest twist of all, Grandpa Theron, is sick. That's right. The legendary hero, the transcendent powerhouse, is hiding a weakening condition. The pillars of the world are shaking, my darlings, and only a select few know the truth. Why does this matter? Because the time for the family's annual tournament is nearing. A tournament where the young wolves of the Leston family prove their strength and valor. It's the perfect stage for our boy to officially declare his dominance and shatter every expectation. The stakes? Higher than ever. With Theron's health a secret, the succession war is about to boil over. Kieran's performance won't just be for glory. It could determine the very future of the ducal family. He's no longer just a troublemaker. He's a political earthquake waiting to happen. He's been sharpening his claws for 3 years, and now it's time to see what this wolf can really do. The stage is set. The players are in position. The drama is poised to reach a fever pitch. The scene? A letter home. And what does it contain? Not mere updates on his stellar progress. Oh no, it's a masterclass in manipulation. He casually drops that he's reached a 4-star mastery, a feat that would take decades for normal people. He's rewriting history, and then, with the grace of a diving hawk, he swoops in to ask his poor, sweet father Ronan for more allowance. The financial audacity. He is funding his chaos empire. And the nicknames. The knights don't call him young master. They call him the Mad Puppy, a direct descendant of the legendary Mad Dog herself, his glorious Aunt Aurelia. It's not an insult. It's a badge of honor he wears with pride. He's not just accepted. He's feared. The uncles are shaking in their boots, too terrified to make a move against the little wolf who bites back. But the true masterpiece of this chapter, the breakfast scene. He sits there, breaking bread, with his formidable Aunt Aurelia, when his nemesis, Aunt Camilla, the mother of his traumatized cousin, Lucienne, dares to approach. She's seething with 3 years of pent-up rage, forced to smile through gritted teeth. And how does our magnificent protagonist handle her? With the most devastating weapon in his arsenal, polite, casual, absolutely devastating truth. She offers him a history lesson with a tutor, and he dismisses it because he'd already finished the entire curriculum with the Empire's top historian when he was 7. The look on her face, the sheer, silent fury. He doesn't need to raise his voice. His accomplishments are a slap in the face all on their own. But wait! There's more! A shadow looms on the horizon. Papa Ronan has discovered a dangerous drug coken being smuggled onto their lands. And worse, monsters and fiends, remnants of the old Emperor's reign, are stirring in the west. The plot thickens. Danger approaches. The stage is set for our mad puppy to sink his teeth into something far bigger than family squabbles. Intrigue, smuggling, ancient evils returning, the drama is reaching a fever pitch. Let's check in on the family, shall we? First, poor Lucienne is stuck between a rock and a hard place, specifically between his seething mother, Camilla, and his terrifyingly brilliant cousin. Camilla is desperately trying to fuel a rivalry that simply does not exist. She wants Lucienne to see Kieran as competition, but the poor boy knows better. He's seen the sun, and he knows he's just a firefly. The resignation, the drama. But while the family squabbles, our main attraction is on the training grounds, putting a fully grown knight through the ringer. That's right, Kieran is sparring with Hans, a squad leader of the Azure Wolves, and he's winning with a wooden sword. He's so strong he's breaking training swords on the man's armor. The power, the sheer, unadulterated gall. And his trash talk is absolutely impeccable. Your muscles are like balloons, he says. The disrespect, I am living for it. But beneath the teasing, there's a real bond here. Hans is one of the few who can keep up with Kieran's chaotic energy, and he confirms what we all know. Our boy is ready for real missions. He's reached 4-star mastery. He's a powerhouse waiting to be unleashed. But of course, Kieran can't just wait for an assignment to be given to him. Oh no, he has to go and find trouble himself. And trouble arrives in the form of a worried-looking noble from the neighboring Belrus barony, a place plagued by bandits, and, as we know from Papa Ronan's investigation, a possible drug smuggling operation. So what does our magnificent chaos magnet do? He decides to personally welcome the visiting noble. He, a 13-year-old, is going to insert himself into a diplomatic situation because the adults are busy. His reasoning. There are certain rules of etiquette among nobles. The audacity, the hypocrisy. He who regularly terrorizes his cousins and breaks swords on knights is suddenly an expert in etiquette. I am cackling. Hans can only sigh in despair, already drafting the apology report to Commander Zerath in his head. He knows that wherever Kieran goes, beautiful, beautiful trouble follows. What will Kieran discover? Will he stumble into the drug plot? Will he take on the bandits single-handedly? The stage is set for our mad puppy to sink his teeth into a real mission. That's right! He's cornered the poor distressed Baron Caspian of Belrus and is grilling him about bandits and drug smuggling like a tiny blonde detective. And he's so compelling, the Baron just spills everything. The power this boy holds is absolutely terrifying. But the best part, the moment of sheer panic when Commander Valerius walks in, the look on his face, he's not even surprised anymore, it's just pure, resigned exhaustion. Please stop picking up bad habits from Lady Seraphina, he says, the long-suffering sigh of a man who has long since accepted his fate. I am cackling. Of course, Kieran immediately volunteers for the mission to crush the bandits. And of course, Valerius says no, it's too dangerous. He'd rather send him to fight monsters. But our boy? He doesn't take no for an answer. He whips out his secret weapon, emotional manipulation. He suggests making it a memorable outing with his glorious great-aunt, Lady Seraphina. And she falls for it, hook, line, and sinker. She's so touched he wants to make memories with her that she agrees to chaperone a bandit hunting trip. The sheer tactical brilliance. He's playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. And he doesn't stop there. He drags his poor, traumatized cousin Lucien along for the ride. Lucienne is complaining, trying to back out, but Lady Seraphina isn't having it. She steamrolls over his stammering with talk of azure wolf spirit and vile people until he just gives up and accepts his fate. The poor boy is being voluntold for a life-changing field trip. The stage is set, my darlings. A legendary warrior, a prodigy menace, and his reluctant sidekick are about to ride into a barony crawling with trained bandits. This isn't a simple mission, it's a bonding experience. What could possibly go wrong? Everything could go wrong, and it's going to be magnifique. But first, let's rewind to that glorious train ride. Our magnificent Lady Seraphina is dispensing life lessons like a vengeful goddess. If you can't kill, you'll be killed, she tells a visibly queasy Lucien. The mentorship, the sheer, unadulterated edge, I am living for it. And then, the moment we've all been waiting for, with 20 minutes left on the clock, she decides she's bored of the conversation. What does she do? She opens the window of a moving train and just leaps out into the wilderness. No warning, no dramatic music, just a casual, I'll be watching. And she's gone. The audacity, the power, the absolutely zero regard for basic transportation safety. I have never been more inspired. And the boys' reactions? Priceless. Lucien is horrified. Kieran is utterly unfazed, already planning to try it himself someday. The dichotomy, the sheer difference in their brain chemistry. Poor Baron Caspian is having a full-blown existential crisis, questioning every life choice that led him to this moment. But the drama doesn't stop there. They arrive in Belrus Barony, and oh, the atmosphere. It's bleak, it's depressing, the air smells of despair and neglected garbage. The people are shuffling husks of their former selves. It's a far cry from the gleaming halls of Azure Ocean Castle, and even Lucien has a moment of clarity, realizing how privileged his life has been. Character development in the middle of a bandit hunt. And through it all, Kieran remains focused. His sword guillotine is vibrating with bloodlust. It knows a fight is coming. It's hungry. He brushes off the Baron's apologies and pleasantries and demands to see the injured lord immediately. No time for rest, no time for tea. There are bandits to crush and a mission to complete. The stage is set for a glorious reckoning. The mad puppy is on the hunt, and he's brought his reluctant cousin along for the ride. What will they find in the castle? Traitors? Lies? A bedridden lord with a tale of woe? Our scene opens in the sick room of the noble, wounded Baron Belrus. He's kind, he's worried, he's everything a good lord should be, and he's trying to protect our little wolves from a dangerous mission. How sweet, how utterly dull. But our Kieran will have none of it. He doesn't just refuse the coddling, he flexes on the poor man. I've reached 4-star, he says, casually, as if he's commenting on the weather. The Baron is shooketh. The prodigy has arrived, and he is not here to be swaddled. But the true master stroke, his reason for charging headfirst into danger, one of my dreams is to live a long life. The irony, the audacity. He says it with a straight face while planning to walk into a bandit den. I am cackling. Cut to the mountain hike with their guide, the slimy, traitorous Sven. And oh, does Kieran see right through him. He plays the part of the clueless, trusting noble child to perfection. He even hands over his legendary sword to the man. The absolute confidence, the unshakable belief that he is always the most dangerous person in any room. And of course, the trap is sprung. The bandits reveal themselves. Their leader is cold, efficient, and immediately kills the greedy Sven. A brutal display meant to intimidate our young heroes. But does it work? On Lucien? Perhaps, but on Kieran? Oh, please. He just smiles and asks for his sword back. And when the youngest bandit foolishly draws it, the true terror is unleashed. Guillotine is revealed, and its mere presence freezes these hardened men solid with primal fear. The atmosphere shifts from a bandit ambush to a horror movie, and Kieran is the villain. And then, the piece de resistance! With a motion so swift it's almost casual, Kieran reclaims his blade and delivers Guillotine's first kill. Congratulations, you're Guillotine's first customer. He says it with a smile. The chill, the theatrics, it's perfection. The message is clear. The prey they thought they were hunting was the apex predator all along. The game is over before it even began. Our scene, the mountain fortress. Our captive heroes have been led inside by the trembling, urine-soaked traitor Urhan. And oh, The reception committee is just wonderful. Undead. A whole army of them rising from the ground, clattering and moaning. It's not a bandit hideout, it's a necromancer's tea party. And the mana? That familiar, vile, devil-tainted dark mana that our dear Kieran knows all too well from his cursed past life. It's not just any mage up here, it's a dark mage. The very same flavor of evil that served the malevolent emperor. The connections are being made, my darlings. The web of intrigue is stretching all the way back to the main plot. But is our magnificent protagonist worried? Terrified? Please? He's excited. Now this is what makes the first mission fun, he says, with a smirk on his face. The absolute madman. He's facing down a horde of the undead and a powerful dark mage, and he's treating it like a trip to an amusement park. And poor Lucien, he's just witnessed his first massacre, courtesy of his monstrous cousin, and now he's being handed his sword to face a literal army of skeletons. The character development is happening at breakneck speed. Will he rise to the occasion, or will he finally need to change those trousers? The stakes have been raised to a glorious new level. This is no longer about simple bandits. This is about a dark conspiracy with ties to the demons of old. What is a dark mage doing here? Who is truly pulling the strings? The scene. The bandit fortress. Our boys are surrounded by skeletons and highly trained deserters. Archers on the walls, a sneering boss on the balcony. It's a classic outnumbered and outgunned scenario. And how does our magnificent protagonist react? He grabs the traitorous Orhan, puts a sword to his neck, and tries to take a hostage. The audacity, the sheer, unmitigated gall of a noble child resorting to bandit tactics. Even his cousin Lucien is stunned. But of course, the cold-hearted boss doesn't care. A hostage is only useful if they have value, he says, dismissing poor, useless Uran. A brutal lesson in realpolitik. So what's plan B? Why, the simplest plan of all. We take down the boss. Cue the mana explosion! Kieran unleashes his azure mana, and the entire fortress learns why you don't mess with a Lustin. He doesn't just fight, he performs a ballet of obliteration. He uses an ocean wave technique to clear a path through the undead, charges the boss in under 10 seconds, and severs his hand before the man can even blink. The power, the precision, the petty smirk he gives while doing it, it's a masterpiece of violence. But the true plot twist, the arrival of the magnificent Lady Seraphina. She doesn't just show up, she makes an entrance, exploding through the iron gate, holding the severed head of the dark mage like a gruesome trophy. She declares their mission a failure because they missed the most crucial evidence. The dark mage is dead, the lead is cold, and their first mission is officially a bust. The look on the boys' faces, Lucien's proud flush of victory instantly wiped away. Kieran's shameless shrug as he tries to justify his disastrous hostage scheme. The tension is exquisite. And Seraphina's final line? Things have gotten complicated. Understatement of the century, darling. A dark mage connected to demons operating right next to the Leston border? This isn't a simple bandit cleanup. It's the first thread of a much larger, much darker conspiracy. The scene, the castle of Belrus Barony. The young Baron Caspian is profusely thanking our heroes, but his eyes are shadowed with the weight of his barony's poverty. He's so broke he can't even afford to pay the standard fee for the Azure Wolves' help. The embarrassment, the drama. But does our brilliant boy demand payment? Oh, please. He's above such trivialities. Instead, he whips out a mid-grade mana stone he found in the bandit mine. That's right. The very reason the bandits were there. The barony's barren mountains are sitting on a fortune, and they had no idea. The irony is so thick you could build a castle with it. And then, the master stroke. He doesn't just hand it over. Oh no. He proposes a joint venture. The Leston Duchy will help develop the mine in exchange for a stake. It's a deal that provides the barony with security, wealth, and the protection of the Azure Wolves, all while securing a strategic foothold and a new revenue stream for his family. The political genius! He's not just a mad puppy, he's a mercenary mastermind. And he plays it so coy. Oh, the details are for the adults to discuss. The sheer, unmitigated gall. He orchestrated the entire deal and then acts like he's just a simple child. I am cackling. Even the magnificent Lady Seraphina is impressed, noting he's truly his father's son, a business genius wrapped in a warrior's body. The layers? But of course, the moment is interrupted by more chaos in the barony, forcing a rushed but perfectly dramatic farewell. Our wolves must return to their den with their prisoners and their world-changing news. The first mission is over, but the real game is just beginning. A monostone mine, a dark mage conspiracy. The plot thickens like a fine stew. But first, a tender reunion. The magnificent Papa Ronan is here. He's beaming with pride at his brilliant, chaotic son. And our boy Kieran, he's already playing 4D chess, turning a bandit cleanup into a strategic business venture that will secure his family's influence for years to come. The genius, the audacity, he's not just a fighter, he's a visionary. But of course, the sweet family moment is laced with dark omens. The political landscape of the empire is fracturing. The other dukes, the leeches who helped dethrone the old emperor, are getting greedy. The capital is a nest of vipers and the emperor is a mere scarecrow. The stage is set for a power struggle of epic proportions. And through it all, Kieran continues to be an absolute menace to his poor cousin Lucian. He cons him into writing the entire mission report by himself. The manipulation, the sheer, unrepentant laziness. "It's for your own good," he says, with a smirk that could curdle milk. I have never respected a fictional character more. But wait, the final twist. Just as Kieran is finishing his mana training, Commander Valerius arrives with a summons. Grandpa Theron is back from the capital, and he wants to see Kieran immediately. And the reason? A trip to the capital. The heart of the empire, the lion's den, a place dripping with politics, intrigue, and undoubtedly a whole new set of enemies for our mad puppy to terrorize. The call to adventure has been issued. What awaits him in the capital? A formal introduction to the court, a meeting with the feeble emperor, a confrontation with the scheming dukes. The scene? Grandpa Theron's office. It's not a congratulatory party, it's an interrogation. The old wolf is in full patriarch mode, grilling our boy Kieran about his audacious business proposal. "You disgraced the family," he thunders. "The uncles are secretly delighted. Papa Ronan is sweating bullets." But does our magnificent protagonist cower? Does he falter? Oh, please. He stands his ground with the poise of a seasoned diplomat. He defends his actions not for personal gain, but for the glory of the family. The perfect, flawless answer, the sheer political genius of it. Theron isn't even mad, he's impressed. The uncle's smiles instantly vanish. The reversal is exquisite. But wait, the main event arrives, a summons from the emperor himself. The scarecrow on the throne has taken notice of our little hero. A command to appear in the capital. The tension is palpable. And Theron, in a shocking show of softness, gives Kieran an out. "You don't have to go." But our boy? He accepts without hesitation. He sees not a threat, but an opportunity. A chance to step onto the grandest stage of all and cause absolute mayhem. The ambition, the nerve. But the true bombshell is dropped after Kieran leaves. A fragment of monster skin, infused with the very same dark mana used by the malevolent emperor. The revelation that the tyrant of old might still be alive. The horror, the implications, the narrative possibilities. I am vibrating with excitement. And then, a perfect nightcap. The glorious Lady Seraphina crashes Kieran's room with stolen whiskey and a drowsy Lucienne for a final, hilarious drinking session before her departure. The camaraderie, the teasing, the bittersweet farewell. It's the perfect balance of heart and humor. The stage is set for an epic journey to the capital, new enemies, new allies, and mystery that threatens the entire empire. Kieran is about to be unleashed on the unsuspecting high society of Dacus, and I, for one, cannot wait to see the carnage. The scene? A post-negotiation meeting. The sweet, savvy Baron Caspian is back, and he's not just here with thanks, he's here with an offer. He wants to gift a whopping 5% of the Mana Stone Mines shares directly to our young heroes. Not to the family, to the boys personally, the sheer audacity, the forward-thinking genius. He's not just thanking them, he's investing in them. And Papa Ronan is rightfully suspicious. "Why such a lavish gift?" he asks, seeing the political play hidden beneath the gratitude. And Baron Caspian doesn't deny it. He admits he's buying favor with the future of the Leston family, the honesty, the nerve. I am cackling. But the true masterpiece unfolds next. While the adults are finalizing the deal, the cousins have their own negotiation. Lucienne, ever the innocent, doesn't even grasp the value of what he's being given. "How much is 5%, he asks. The naivety, the sheer, beautiful cluelessness. And our magnificent Kieran, he pounces like the wolf he is. He manipulates the numbers, strong-arms his cousin, and walks away with a 90-10 split. He's not just a menace, he's a monopolist. He's secured a personal fortune that would make a king blush all before his 14th birthday. The greed, the brilliance, I have never been more proud. And the final cherry on top, his whispered line to his father. It's a good thing that grandfather and the uncles aren't here. The awareness, the cunning. He knows exactly what he's doing and who he needs to hide it from. The mad puppy is no longer just a troublemaker. He's a tycoon in the making. He has the power, the influence, and now the capital to fund any scheme his brilliant, chaotic mind can conceive. The stage is set for a glorious trip to the capital. He's rich, he's powerful, and he's utterly unhinged. The high society of Deacon's will never know what hit them. The scene? A final briefing. Our magnificent Kieran is, of course, already causing trouble, sipping water served by his newly acquired, utterly devoted lackey, Orhan. The rehabilitation is going swimmingly, and Commander Valerius is at his wit's end, already anticipating the sheer, unmitigated chaos two unsupervised Leston boys will unleash on the unsuspecting capital. The dread is palpable, but the true meat of the chapter is a private whiskey-soaked meeting between Grandpa Theron and Papa Ronan. The old wolf reveals his true intentions. Sending the boys to the capital isn't just about obeying a summons, it's a test. He wants to see how far his brilliant, monstrous grandson can see into the political abyss. He's throwing Kieran into the deep end to see if he can swim with the sharks. The pressure, the expectations. And Papa Ronan, he's transformed. Once a man uncomfortable in the shadow of his martial family, he now stands confident, declaring his absolute trust in his son. "I trust my son," he says, and the weight of that statement shifts the very dynamics of the family, the character growth, the drama. The stakes are crystal clear. The capital is a nest of vipers. The emperor is fearful and manipulable. The other great nobles are scheming, and the Leston family has a target on its back. This trip is a dangerous gambit, but Theron is betting everything on Kieran's potential. The stage is set for a glorious, dramatic, and undoubtedly chaotic debut in the heart of the Empire. Our mad puppy, now backed by a formidable personal fortune and his father's unwavering faith, is about to be unleashed on the capital. The scene? The luxury train car. Our magnificent Kieran is, of course, bantering with the long-suffering Hans, while poor Lucien is snoring like a lumberjack. The camaraderie, the casual disrespect, I am living for it. But our boy is restless. He's already bored of the journey and plotting ways to cause chaos in the capital. He's even considering Hans's terrible advice about courting scandal with noble ladies. The horror, the hilarious miscalculation. But wait! A sudden vibration. His sword, the glorious guillotine, begins to hum with ominous energy. It senses danger. The foreboding is palpable. Our brilliant protagonist immediately goes on high alert, slapping poor Lucien awake and barking orders at Hans. The tension builds. He deduces the threat must be external. He tries to warn them to stop the train. But he's a fraction of a second too late. Boom! An explosion rocks the train. The screen shakes. The sound design is immaculate. Chaos, terror, the cliffhanger of all cliffhangers. Who dared to attack a train protected by the Imperial seal? What is the goal? Is it assassination? A kidnapping? A message? The plot thickens faster than a bowl of royal oatmeal. The capital awaits. But first, our wolves must survive this ambush. A political nightmare in the Thebe autonomous territory. Mayor Grine is trying to manage a room full of squabbling, greedy council members. A task more difficult than taming a hydra. The bickering, the accusations. It's a symphony of incompetence. And just as he's about to lose his last shred of patience, the bombshell drops. A train from Azerosian Castle has been attacked. The train, the one carrying our beloved Kieran and Lucien. The mayor's reaction, priceless. He starts smoking indoors. When a rule stickler breaks his own rules, you know the world is ending. We're all as good as dead, he says. And he's not wrong. To attack the Leston family is to declare war on the Empire itself. Cut to the wreckage. Our boys are shaken, but miraculously unharmed, thanks to some handy protective magic. But the brilliant Kieran immediately deduces the horrifying truth. This wasn't just an attack, it was treason. The tracks are the Emperor's property. The sheer gall of their enemies takes my breath away. And then, the true danger reveals itself. 30 masked assailants, led by a 6-star knight, emerge from the smoke. They want Kieran alive. They think this makes them safe. Oh, you foolish, foolish people. They have not realized they are not the hunters. They are the prey. In a moment of chilling clarity, our mad puppy grins and realizes the one glorious advantage he holds. They can't kill him, but he can absolutely slaughter them. The stage is set for a bloodbath. A cornered wolf is dangerous enough, but a cornered wolf who has been given permission to bite? It's a slaughter waiting to happen. The scene? A field of utter devastation. Our boy isn't just fighting, he's conducting a symphony of slaughter. While the enemy is hobbled by their orders to capture him alive, Kieran has no such restrictions. He's painting the grass red with Ocean Wolf sword art's form 4. Raging waves, the efficiency, the cold, ruthless precision. He's a force of nature, and his sword, guillotine, is the harbinger of pure, primal fear. And the best part? His brilliant, twisted logic. They can't kill me, but I can absolutely slaughter them. The sheer, breathtaking gall. He turns their greatest constraint into his ultimate weapon. The enemies are frozen not by strategy, but by the soul-deep terror his sword carves into their minds. But wait, a worthy opponent emerges. Zion Hakimi, a 6-star knight from a foreign sultanate. A real threat. He pushes the valiant Hans to the brink, even ready to burn out his own life force. But does our magnificent protagonist wait for the epic duel to conclude? Oh, please? He casually strolls over in the middle of his own killing spree and severs the man's arm mid-attack. The disrespect, the sheer, unmitigated nerve. This seemed like the most urgent situation, he says, as if he's just tidying up. I am cackling. And the final glorious twist, the knight's body was a Trojan horse, rigged with a self-destruction spell. As Hans heroically throws himself over Kieran, a voice, the sword's voice, echoes in his mind, ready to protect its master. The cliffhanger is exquisite. What magic does guillotine hold? Will our boys survive the point-blank explosion? If you enjoyed this tragicomic opera, and how could you not? Do grant us a grand applause, a like, a subscribe. Ring that bell so you don't miss a single moment of our next dramatic recap. The aftermath of the explosion. Thanks to the heroic sacrifice of Hans and the last-minute intervention of a certain chatty sword, our boys are alive. But the revelation is what truly shakes the foundation. Guillotine has an ego, a voice, and the attitude of a disgruntled aristocrat. The banter between master and sword is an absolute masterpiece. Kieran, ever the little chaos demon, immediately starts teasing his sentient weapon, calling it a cursed sword and complaining about its sharp tongue. He even sheathes it just to get the last word. The disrespect. The hilarious, beautiful disrespect. I am living for this dynamic. But beneath the comedy lies crucial lore. The sword reveals it needs to absorb mana from blood to regain its strength and communicate. It's not a curse, it's a feature. And it's been aware of Kieran's reincarnated soul since the very beginning. The plot. It thickens. Meanwhile, poor Lucien is dealing with the heavy weight of his first kill, a necessary but painful step in his growth. And the valiant Hans is recovering, rightfully wary of their rescue by the Thebe vigilantes. The mystery deepens as they identify the 6-star knight as Zion Hakimi from the Qajar Sultanate, a move that makes no logical sense and risks all-out war. The web of intrigue stretches across borders, and our boys are stuck right in the middle of it. The chapter ends with our battered heroes arriving at the glittering, prosperous city of Thebe. But as Kieran so aptly puts it, damn, it's too fancy. A storm is coming to this city, and the mad puppy and his talking sword are at the eye of it. The glittering city of Thalin welcomes our young wolf, Seal Arden, heir to the Duke's house, but behind all that luxury, corruption thicker than perfume. The mayor, Lord Grevin, rushes to greet them, all smiles and sweat. "Thank the heavens you're safe," he says, as if the gods suddenly care about politics. The man's terrified. The Duke's train was just bombed. If anyone had died, Thalen would have burned by morning. Seal's expression doesn't change. "You don't look like the man Hans described," he says, which, in noble language, basically means, "You look suspicious." Poor Grevin tries to laugh it off, bowing and babbling about loyalty, but Seal cuts through the act like a blade. "Relax, Mayor. I didn't come to hang you, unless you'd prefer to kneel." Grevin quickly sits. Smart man. Then the talk turns serious. The explosion wasn't magic, no traces of mana, just simple mining explosives, meaning someone smuggled them in. And Thalen is known for smugglers. Before Grevin can defend himself, his secretary bursts in. "Mayor, the capital's sending the director of the National Tax Service, Gale Perron himself." Grevin freezes. Everyone in the Empire knows that name, the demon of the tax office. And worst of all, he's Seal's grandfather. Seal just smiles. "Do you know my family motto, Mayor? Repay kindness tenfold, and debt 100-fold. Now the mayor understands. This isn't a polite visit. It's a warning. There's a traitor in the city, and the Duke's little wolf plans to find them personally. Later, Seal lounges in his suite with his cousin Leon and Knight Harris. Leon, still clueless, asks, "Why is everyone so scared of your grandpa?" Seal chuckles. "Because they've got things to hide." When Harris mentions that Special Division 1, the armed tax enforcers, are arriving soon, Leon's jaw drops. "You need soldiers to collect taxes?" "Because not everyone pays willingly, dear cousin." Then Seal's tone hardens. 3 knights, 2 servants dead. Whoever planned this attack, they'll pay. A life for a life. And that, dear viewers, is how the little wolf bears his fangs. The city of Thebes sparkles like nothing happened. Streets glowing, crowds laughing, yet somewhere above that noise, inside the city hall, a storm is brewing. Councilmen shout, pointing fingers, desperate to save their own skins. But the once spineless Mayor Grind slams his hand on the desk. "The Duke's heirs nearly died today, and you dare whine about the hour?" The room falls silent. Even Karen Leston, the Duke's grandson, looks impressed. "Seems the mayor's the only one here who actually cares," Karen says, voice calm, but sharp enough to draw blood. Then the door opens. Men in black suits line the hall. The commissioner of the Imperial Tax Office is entering. And in walks Guile Periton, Karen's grandfather, his aura colder than iron, his smile warmer than sin. "Glad you're safe, my boy," he says. Then turns to the council, smile vanishing. "Special Division 1 will begin full audits immediately. Cooperate, or face the royal knights." When one trembling noble protests, Karen smoothly adds, "That's Viscount Humor, grandfather. He's the one who questioned the investigation." In a blur, Guile grabs the man by the collar. "You dare endanger my grandson?" Humor chokes out denials too late. The audit has already begun. The room feels less like a council chamber and more like an execution ground. Later, under the city's neon bright night, grandfather and grandson stroll through the market. They share food, trade jokes, isn't, for a moment, just family. But beneath Caron's polite smile burns something darker. He's already marked his targets. His grandfather warns, "You're coming to the capital tomorrow. His Majesty demands it." Karen nods, yet his eyes say otherwise. Tonight is his only chance to strike back. That night, Zareth arrives from Azure Ocean Castle. Karen sits on his bed, sword gleaming beside him. "Is sharpening your blade part of bedtime now?" Zareth asks. Karen grins. "A knight must always be ready." Then Zareth delivers a sealed command, all, "By order of the Duke, Halo Leston, extract a blood price for the dead. Show them the laws of Azure Ocean Castle." Karen rises, fastening the sword to his belt. "Understood," he says. The moon hides behind cloud and the mad dog moves into the night. Somewhere deep in Thebes, 2 old men drink beneath lamplight, pretending not to worry. Guile Periton reads a letter from Duke Halo, his brother-in-law, and sighs. "Don't stop him," the letter says. "A wolf handles matters in a wolf's way." "Huh, he really raised that boy to be just like him," Guile mutters. Across the table, Mayor Green chuckles nervously. "He told me to keep you drinking until dawn, sir. Guess he knew you'd try to interfere." Guile laughs dryly, but his heart twists with worry. Karen's only 13. Still just a child, yet already a knight drenched in danger. The mayor tries to reassure him. "He's strong, Commissioner. He's already slain a 6-star knight." But Guile only stares into his glass. He knows Thebes too well, a city that shines by day and bleeds by night. They talk of Thebes' black market, where anything can be bought. Smuggled goods, forbidden materials, even people. A city ruled by greed, corruption, and silence. And somewhere within that darkness, Caron is hunting. Then the name Sir Mason comes up. An 8-star knight, once of the Imperial Guard, now guarding the Emperor's illegitimate son. Guile's expression hardens. "The 6th prince is here, of all times." He rubs his temple, muttering, "If there's no trouble, that boy will make some." Meanwhile, in the red-lit streets of Thebe Caron, and Leo walk side by side through the night crowd, Karen looks every inch the troublemaker noble. Silk shirt, gold watch, curls glowing in the light. Leo, in his plain brown jacket, scowls. "Why do I look like your servant?" "Because you are helping me," Karen says with a smirk. They head east, where laughter fades and the air thickens with danger. Whispers of vice follow them through the alleyways. Karen pulls on a white mask marked with a blue teardrop, a noble's badge in Thebes' underworld. Won't this draw attention? Leo asks. Karen's tone turns cold. Try impersonating a noble here. You won't live long enough to regret it. Soon they reach a dark alley where a hooded man waits. Are you the broker? Karen asks, half drawing his blade, guillotine, its dark blue edge gleaming. The man bows instantly. Sir Zerath sent word. My name is Julio. Inside a cramped safe house, Julio lays out maps and records. He explains the truth. The black market isn't one place, it's a network. Two groups run it from the shadows. The Cur Merchant Guild, rich and cautious, and Caligo, born from slaves, ruthless and hungry. Which one's behind the attack? Karen asks. Caligo, Julio replies. They'll do anything for money. Karen thinks for a moment. 2 targets, 1 night. Then his decision cuts the air like a blade. We start with Caligo. Julio nods. Outside, thunder rumbles. And in its sheath, guillotine hums softly like a beast that's just scented blood. Karen and his team follow Julio into a secret passage hidden behind a bookshelf classic villain decor. Down below, 2 guards block the path. Julio tries to talk, but Karen? Oh no, he just smiles and draws his sword. 1/scabbard gone. Message delivered. Then a mysterious woman's voice echoes through a glowing emblem. Let them in! They're the guests I've been waiting for! Karen grins. Finally, someone with manners. They enter the underground city of Caligo, a glowing maze of ruins and luxury. Everyone stares, whispering, but Karen, he walks like he owns the place. At a mansion, they meet a masked noble with an aura so heavy it could crush stone. Karen decides diplomacy is overrated and takes them hostage. The masked figure laughs. Brilliant move! You're crazier than the rumors said. Then the reveal drops. The hostage is actually the 6th prince of the empire. Karen blinks. Oh, fantastic. I just kidnapped royalty. And that's how our reckless wolf waltzed straight into a royal mess. The room falls silent. After a daring hostage switch, Kael Verdon suddenly realizes he's holding a royal prince at sword point while facing the prince's bodyguard, Sir Darius, a 7-star knight with the power to squash him like a grape. You really don't value your life, do you? Darius says coolly. Kael laughs nervously. Just testing the family reflexes. Then the prince himself, Prince Revik, smiles cheerfully. Oh, don't be so uptight. Let's be friends. Friends? With the guy currently threatening his neck. Kael's brain short-circuits. Can your guard let us live, friend? Revik shrugs. Maybe. Depends on my mood. Turns out, this black sheep prince is the Empire's most unpredictable lunatic, half genius, half chaos. But beneath that grin, Kael senses something else. Magic. This guy's a mage, whispers Kael's cursed blade, Oblivion. Moments later, a red-haired elf woman strolls in, the true boss of the underworld. Really? I leave for 5 minutes and my brother's the hostage now? Meet Lady Foina, ruler of the underground city. Power radiates from her, calm, confident, terrifying. She waves a hand. Put the sword down, young wolf. He's annoying, but he's mine. Kael sighs and releases Revik, who immediately complains, Hey! Real men don't quit halfway. Real men don't kidnap royalty, Kael retorts. Foina laughs amused. Smart boy. I like you. Tea is poured, the tension fades and secrets spill. Foina claims Caligo had nothing to do with the recent attack and proves it with burning blue mana that could vaporize the room. Then she makes an offer. We know who sold the explosives. Let's make a deal. Kael narrows his eyes. What's your price? Simple. Be friends with my brother. Kael blinks. That's it. Revik grins. Oh, it's not just friendship. Think of it as chaos with benefits. And with that, the Mad Prince flashes his golden eyes and declares, Let's shake the Empire, Kael Verdon. Kael stares at him in disbelief. Wonderful. I've gone from hostage-taker to co-conspirator. The world never runs out of fools, does it? Tonight's story begins with tension sharp enough to slice through silk. Sir Kyle Vernier, calm, cold, terrifyingly focused, faces Lady Selene and her sly brother, Prince Revik. Kael warns them, if your intel's fake, Calidor will pay. Solène just smiles sweetly. Relax, darling, we're all sinking together. The royal siblings flirt with chaos like it's a hobby. Revok even munches on an apple mid-crisis. Oh, how dramatic. But underneath that smug grin hides a scarred past. A prince abandoned, hunted since childhood, his mother murdered, his life saved by the loyal knight Marius. Years later, he's back, older, sharper, and ready to burn the empire that discarded him. The emperor's dying, Revok mutters, and I might be the one to finish him off. Solène sighs, half pity, half admiration. Marius, ever the realist, warns, that boy Cale, he'll become a monster. And honestly, he's right. Because while they talk politics and revenge, elsewhere in Thebes, someone's already bleeding. Lord Orin, head of a massive trading company, paces in panic. He sold weapons to the wrong people, and now, surprise, he's the target. He tells himself it's just business, but when his windows shatter and nights storm in, business quickly turns to terror. The door bursts open. 2 young men step in, Cale and his brother Leon, the same boys nearly killed earlier that day. Cale smiles, too calm to be sane. Evening, counselor. Packing already? He tosses a small pouch at Orin's feet. Inside, severed hands. Orin freezes. Cale leans close. Relax. Those aren't your families. They're the assassins sent after them. Relief floods Orin's face. Just before Cale whispers, their lives now depend on how honest you are. And that, my dear viewers, is how the game of blood begins. The Empire trembles, monsters awaken, and Cale Vernier, he's just getting started. Ah. Thebe never sleeps, does it? The mansion still reeks of blood and smoke, and Leo, sweet, nervous Leo, asks, Is it over? To which Karen, ever the calm storm, simply smirks. No, little brother, we're just getting started. Because Oyen, the trembling merchant, was only a pawn. The real game's just begun. Someone higher, richer, dirtier is pulling the strings. As their knights clean up the mess, Karen pulls out a glowing orb, Caligo's gift. And out crackles Foina's teasing voice. Mission accomplished, I see Tilda now. Will you befriend our dear prince? Karen fires back. I don't make friends with bad people. Foina laughs unbothered. Oh, we're definitely bad. But we're useful. Her words drip with meaning. Caligo doesn't just want the Leston family. They want him. Karen Leston. And for the first time, his smile fades. When the orb dies, Karen mutters, Everyone in this city's insane. Leo just sighs. Then we'll fit right in. Later that night, they return home. Their grandfather, Lord Gile, rushes to embrace Karen, relieved he's alive. The tension breaks for a moment, until Karen calmly suggests the craziest idea yet. He tells the mayor, Announce the attack publicly. The mayor freezes. You want me to expose this? The Leston name will... Karen grins, eyes glinting. Exactly. We make it so big, the Empire can't bury it. His plan? Turn a scandal into a weapon. Make the nobles tremble. And make Thebe his. As the chapter closes, Karen's thoughts are sharp as his blade. If Thebe is this chaotic, then we'll claim it for ourselves. In the grand Azure Keep, tension brewed between 2 generations of the Leston family. The stern Duke Helion calmly sipped his tea, while his son, Lord Fael, fumed over one thing, his 13-year-old son, Saro, nearly dying in Thebe. But Helion, completely unbothered. If the boy can't handle danger, he said, he's not fit to carry our name. Cold, ruthless, and absolutely proud. Then came the twist the plan Saro left behind. It wasn't just revenge. Oh no, he'd turned the chaos into a political masterpiece, using the Thebe Council's scandal to let the Leston family quietly take over the entire city. Even Helion had to smirk. Ambitious little wolf, he said. Greed like that belongs to a true Leston. Meanwhile, over in Thebes Plaza, Mayor Grindsaro's new puppet, let's be honest, was giving a fiery speech to the crowd. We will cleanse Thebe of corruption, he shouted, while the people screamed his name like he was some kind of hero, all according to Saro's plan. From a restaurant window above, Saro and his cousin Leon watched over breakfast. Leon blinked. He's really loving the spotlight. Saro grinned. Politicians always do. Give them a stage and they'll dance for free. Even Grandfather Guile couldn't help but admire the boy's mind turning near death into an empire-building opportunity. He knew one thing for sure. The family's power struggle had just begun. And somewhere in the crowd, the young mad dog of the Leston family smiled because Thebe was his first conquest, but definitely not his last. Ah, politics. The dirtiest game played with the prettiest smiles. In the courtyard of the Leston estate, Caron and Mayor Grine were already laughing like old friends, sealing deals no one else could hear. Grine praised his own speech, Caron praised Grine's leadership, and when Caron slipped the mayor a heavy pouch of gold, that friendship became profitable. Consider it an investment, Caron said with that smug little grin. Grine didn't need more explanation. Money talked, and this was a full conversation. Leo watched from a distance, half impressed, half horrified. Was that a bribe? He muttered. Caron smirked. A strategic donation, you'll learn. The two shook hands, binding Thebe's future with coins and secrets. Then came a darker question. Grine asked, "Can you contact Caligo?" Caron chuckled. "Why would an honest mayor want to reach the underworld?" Grine's reply, "Because even honest men need devils on their side." And just like that, Caron realized, this old man was sharper than he looked. Soon, Zerath arrived. The capital was calling, and Emperor's orders were absolute. Grine offered a drink and a reason to stay, but Caron waved him off. "I'll visit when I'm done conquering the capital." Just as things seemed peaceful, a huge man came barreling in. "Young Master Caron!" Caron froze. "Oh no, it's him!" Enter Urhan, former bandit, current chaos incarnate, bragging about saving everyone in Caron's clothes. Leo groaned. Caron smirked. "Relax, Leo. He's comic relief." But before they could leave, Zerath broke the news. "I won't join you. The Imperial Guards will escort you." Caron's face fell instantly. "You mean those lapdogs?" And just when the tension peaked, boom! A gilded carriage arrived. From it stepped none other than the sixth prince, Revelio. "Oh, Caron, fate brings us together again," he chirped. Caron's soul visibly left his body. "Why must fate hate me so?" The prince clung to his arm, teasing him nonstop. "Call me brother, or shall I remind everyone how we met?" Caron hissed. "Are you blackmailing me?" "Blackmail? I prefer to call it friendship." Leo tried not to laugh, until the prince grabbed him too. "Come ride with us, Leo." "What? No, Too late." And as the carriage rolled toward the capital, Caron muttered, "I really, really hate this." Leo sighed beside him. "You deserve it." And thus began their miserable royal road trip. Another day, another royal headache. Caron's on his way to the capital, peaceful trip for once, with Imperial Guards, Ocean Wolf Knights, and an 8-star knight like Mason. Yeah, no bandit's dumb enough to try anything. So our mad dog actually gets some sleep. When he wakes, Leo's drooling, and Prince Revelio, usually a non-stop chatterbox, is just quietly staring out the window. For a moment, he almost looks royal. Almost. Then he opens his mouth and the illusion dies. Caron teases him. "Wow, you finally shut up." Revelio laughs, being all, "I can be thoughtful too." Their banter's weirdly friendly. Caron even shares jerky. That's basically friendship in warrior language. Then the conversation turns serious. Revelio hints that the chaos in Thebe might have been Caron's doing. And he's right. The mayor's power grab? All part of Leston's plan. The two talk politics. Power, allies, and freedom. Revelio calls his secret group just a bunch of misfits chasing freedom, but Caron knows there's more behind that smug grin. Eventually, talk dies down. Caron's like, "I ate jerky, now I sleep." Revelio sighs, summons a magic sleep mask, and mutters, "You're basically an animal." Caron wins that round, falls asleep instantly. When they finally reach the capital, the scenery stuns Leo. Massive walls, shining towers, especially the Imperial Magic Tower, brighter than ever. But while everyone's in awe, Caron just stares with a bitter smile. Because this isn't just the capital. This is where he died 50 years ago. His grave. And now he's back. Ah, the capital at last, and guess who's waiting to cause chaos again? That's right, Prince Revelio, our favorite royal disaster. Caron and Leo arrive at Giles' mansion, but Revelio's still clinging on like a cat at the window. He's like, "Hey, maybe I'll stay the night." Caron punches him and goes, "No peddlers allowed." Ouch! Denied. After some teasing and a farewell full of sarcasm, the prince rides off, leaving behind Mason, the poor knight babysitting him. Even Mason admits this is probably karmic punishment. Then comes a wholesome twist. Karen's grandmother, Helena, storms in like a commander. She's sweet for 2 seconds, then immediately yells orders like a drill sergeant. Even Leo's like, "Bro, your grandma's buff." Karen just grins. "She works out more than my grandpa. Priorities, right?" But the fun doesn't last. Enter Hugo, Karen's older cousin, calm, polite, and secretly testing him. The handshake turns into a mana duel. Hugo pushes his power in, and boom! Karen's mana surges back, wild and violent like a storm. The man's 13 and already terrifying. Karen just smiles. "That was fun! Let's play again!" Translation, "Don't mess with me, cousin." Hugo hides his frustration, but notes the truth. Karen's tongue might be deadlier than his sword. Later that night, Karen relaxes alone with a stolen bottle of 30-year royal whiskey. Yes, he swiped it straight from Revelio's carriage. He chats with Guillotine, his cursed sword, about his past life, the blue dragon, and why he was reborn. Guillotine, ever dramatic, threatens to behead whoever cursed him 1,000 times. Karen just laughs, pours whiskey on the blade, and says, "If you can drink blood, you can drink whiskey." And under the moonlight, the mad dog raises his glass. "To my grave," he whispers, "the very city where he died once before. The capital awakens, and our dear Karen's first morning is pure chaos." Grandma Helena basically declares war on the kitchen. "Prepare a feast," she screams. And by the time she's done, even the servants look traumatized. Breakfast? Legendary. After that royal buffet, Caron, Leo, and Hugo hit the boutique district. And oh, the capital's streets alive, noisy, and absolutely stuffed with nobles, showing off their refined taste. Leo's gawking like a tourist, and Karen's already roasting him. "Stop acting like a country bumpkin," he says. Bold words from a boy who literally grew up in the countryside. Then Hugo steps in the mature cousin type, lecturing them about manners and honor. But Karen, being Karen, instantly turns it into a joke. "So I can talk casually when it's just us, right? The man's got nerve and charm in equal measure." Eventually, they reach the high-end shopping street full of fancy nobles in their killer fashion. And apparently, the crowd's here for them, the young heroes of the Leston family. Noble women are practically eye-hunting Karen and Leo. Poor Leo's panicking. Karen totally unfazed. But then something catches his eye, an old tailor shop. Plain, quiet, out of place among all that luxury. Its name, Aesel. He remembers it from his previous life. Inside, an elderly tailor greets them, humble, polite, and oh so familiar. Karen asks for a suit, and the man laughs nervously. "I'm too old to make what nobles like." Karen smiles. "The suit doesn't matter, the person does." As the tailor measures him, the memories hit this same shop, decades ago, when he was still Cain Latour, the Emperor's forgotten hound. The tailor remembers him too, though he never knew his name back then. When Karen finally asks, the old man smiles softly. "It's Luhan." Karen answers, "Karen Leston." And just like that, a bond from a forgotten life is reborn. But the calm shatters. The door slams open, a young knight storms in, shouting news about Duke Halo's grandsons. Her eyes fall on Karen's emblem, and her voice trembles. "The Leston family, bad people." Oh, looks like the capital's about to get very interesting.